Hi, in this set we have in the following a year corresponds to 1st of January of that year. So if you are talking about 1980, that means we are talking about a particular day in 1980 which is the 1st of January. Fine. So a study to determine the mortality rate for a disease began in 1980. The study chose 1000 males and 1000 females and followed them for 40 years until they died, of whichever came first. Now the 1000 males chosen in 1980 consisted of 250 each of age 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40 and 40 to 50. So what's happening here is that we have 1000 males, total males is 1000, and they are from 4 age groups. First is 10 to 20, as in people who are aged 10 or more than 10 but less than 20. Then you have 20 or more than 20 but less than 30. Then you have 30 or more than 30 but less than 40. And then you have 40 or more than 40 but less than 50. These are the 4 age groups, and in each age group these 1000 people are divided equally. So you'll have 250 people in each age group. And this is also true for females as well. There are 1000 females and there are 250 females in each of these 4 age brackets. This is in 1980. Okay. So this data is not there in the figure because this is already given to us here. Now the 4 figures below, these are the 4 figures. First, second, third, fourth. The 4 figures given below depict the age profile of those among the 2000 individuals who were still alive in 1990, 2000, 2010 and 2020. The blue bars in each figure represent the number of males. So the blue bars is the number of males, whereas the pink bar is the number of females. Okay. The numbers next to the bars give the exact number being represented by the bars. For example, we know that 230 males among those who tracked were still alive in 1990, which are aged between 20 and 30. So these 250 people who were aged between 10 to 20 years in 1980, exactly after 10 years, their age of each of these 250 individuals will increase by 10 years, right, in one decade. So all these 250 people should ideally move to the next age bracket of 20 and 30. So now they move to the age bracket of 20 and 30. So there must have been 250 males and 250 females, right? But there are only 230 males. So what this means is that 20 males died. This should have been 250, right? But it is actually 230. That means 20 males died in this decade from 1980 to 1990. Similarly, the number of females should also be 250, but there are only 240 females. That means 10 females died during this decade of 1980 to 1990, right? Similarly, if you go from 1980 to let's say 2010, right? So what happens is all these people who were in the age bracket of 10 to 20 from 1980 to 2010, so we are talking about 3 decades. So they should move to 1, 2, 3 decade, as in these people should move on to the age bracket of 40, 50 and 30 years, right? These people will move on to the age bracket of 50 to 60. These people will move on to the age bracket of 60 to 70. And these people, these 250 people should move on to the age bracket of 70 to 80, right? Fine. So these 250 people should now be in which age bracket? 40 to 50 age bracket. So let's look at it. In 40 to 50 age bracket, we have 150 males instead of 250. So what this means is out of these 250 males, 100 have died in these last 30 years. Similarly, females is 160 instead of 250. That means 90 females have died in these last 30 years which were there in this age group. Okay. So this is how we are going to read the data. Let's look at each question one by one. First is, in 2000, what was the ratio of number of dead males to dead females among those being tracked? Okay. So in 2000, we are talking about what was the ratio of number of dead males to dead females. Okay, so how many males do we have total? Initially we had 1000 males, right, in 1980, and we had 1000 females initially. Fine. Now let us look at how many males are alive in 2000. So the number of males alive is 180 plus 205 plus 160 plus 100, correct? So this comes out to be 5, 14, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 645. So out of 1000, 645 males are still alive. So the number of males who have died is 1000 minus 645, which is 355. Okay. Similarly, the number of dead females will be total 1000 minus the ones who are still alive. So how many are alive? Let's look at it. 10 plus 75 is 85. 85 plus 20 is 105. Plus 55 is plus 50 is 155. 1 carries over. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 655 females are still alive. So the number of females which are dead is 345. So the required answer here will be the number of dead males to dead females is 355 is to 345. Common factor of 5, eliminating 5, this becomes 71 and this becomes 69. So the correct ratio is option D, 71 is to 69. Okay. Let us look at the next question now. In this question, we have how many people who were being tracked and who were between 30 to 40 years in 1980 survived till 2010. Cool. So we are talking about from 1980 to 2010. So we are talking about a gap of 30 years. So whoever was in the age bracket of 30 to 40, and once you add 30 years to their age, will now be in the age bracket of 60 to 70 years in 2010, right? So in 2010, we are looking at an age bracket of 60 to 70, right? So the question is, how many of them survived until 2010? So 90 males survived and 100 females survived. So the total number of people who survived is 90 plus 100. Option A, 190 people survived. Okay. Next question. How many individuals who are being tracked and who were less than 30 years of age in 1980 survived until 2020? Okay. So from 1980 to 2020, we are talking about 40 years and a difference of 40 years. Okay. So whoever was less than 30 years in 1980 would have been less than 30 plus 40, less than 70 years of age in 2020. So in 2020, we are looking at people who are less than 70 years of age, right? So how many people are of age less than 70? 125 and 105 male female between age of 60-70, 140 and 100 male and females between age of 50-60. So these are the people who are less than 70 years of age, right? So how many total males are there? 265. And how many females are there? 205. So total we have 470 people who are less than the age of 70 years in 2020. So the answer here is option B, 470. Okay. Moving on to the next question. How many of the males who were being tracked and who were between 20 to 30 years of age in 1980 died in the period from 2000 to 2010? Okay, so we're not looking at the total number of people who died. We are looking at those people who died between 2000 to 2010 and who were in this age bracket in 1980. Okay, so let's first do one thing. From 1980, let's go to 2000. So from 1980 to 2000 is effectively 20 years. So whoever was of this age bracket in 1980, add 20 years, would be in the age bracket of 40 to 50 in 2000. And in 2010, they would be in the age bracket of 50 to 60, right? So we are basically focused on this age bracket in 2000 and 2010 and how many people died among these people. Okay, so let's look at 2010. In 2000, the number of people in the age bracket of 40 to 50 is 205. So we are looking at only males, not even females. So there are 205 males who are in the age bracket of 40 to 50 in 2000, and these are the same people who would have been in the age bracket of 20 to 30 in 1980. Out of these 205 males, in the next decade they would shift in the age bracket of 50 to 60. That means in 2010 they will be in this age bracket. So there are 165 males alive in 50-60. So out of these 205 males, there are 165 males that are still alive, right? So what we wanted to figure out is how many of them died in this period from 2000 to 2010. So out of 205, 165 are alive. So the number of people who died would be 205 minus 165, which is 40. Hence the answer to this question is 40 people or 40 males died. Okay. And now coming to the last question here. Now this question had an ambiguity and hence it was discarded by the CAT authorities. Let us look at the question. How many of the females who were being tracked and who were between 20 to 30 years in 1980? So in 1980 they should have been in the age bracket of 20 to 30. Died between the ages of 50 and 60. Okay. Now this is different from the previous question. Here we are talking about died in the period 2000 to 2010. Here we are talking about the years 2000 and 2010. But here we are talking about the age of the people. They should have died between the age of 50 and 60, and that is where the whole issue comes. So whoever was between 19 to 80 in this age bracket would have been in 1990 would have been in the age bracket of 30 to 40. In 2000 would have been in the age bracket of 40 to 50. In 2010 would have been in the age bracket of 50 to 60. And in 2020 would have been in the age bracket of 60 to 70. Fine. So now what happens is, let's look at 2000 to 2010. We're talking about females. In 2000, the number of females in this 40 to 50 category is 175. And out of these 175, next year they will be in the category of 50 to 60, 145. And next year they would be in this category of 60 to 70, 105. So from 175, 145 are still alive. That means 30 of them died. And out of 145, 105 are alive. So 40 of them died. Okay. So going from here to here, 30 women died, and going from here to here, 40 women died. Now, if you talk about a particular woman, let's say who was of 24 years of age. Okay. If she was 24 years age in 1980 and if she is still alive in 2010, she would have been at the age of 44, right? And next year she would have been in the age of 54. Now out of these 30 women who are dying, if let's say this woman is one of those women, then in this 30 years, in this next 10 years, at what point of time does she die? We don't know that. We know 30 women died, but did they die in 2001 or did they die in 2002 or did they die in 2009? Do we know that? We don't know. So if let's say this woman died in 2001, so her age would have been 45 years. But if she died in 2009, her age would have been 53 years. So if her age is 45 years, we will not count her in this category of 50 to 60 years age. But if she died at the age of 53, then we would have to count her in this age group. So since we do not know exactly at what point of time people are dying in the decade, it's impossible to figure out exactly how many of these 30 females will die when they are between 50 to 60 years of age. We know they will die between this time period, but in this time period what will be their individual age cannot be figured out, right? And that was the main issue. In the previous question we are talking about a time period for time period we know how many people are dying, but what is the age of these people in that time period cannot be exactly figured out. Okay, so hence this question, the answer to this question was not possible. This was a theta question, and theta question may cannot be determined is not an option to be marked. Hence this question was discarded. So that's it for this question. Thank you, or said thank you.